opening week of college basketball continues tonight in Clemson, South Carolina, where the Tigers play their first non-conference game of the season, hosting Presbyterian College out of the Big South here at Littlejohn Coliseum. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Clemson, South Carolina. Steve Schlanger alongside Debbie Antonelli. And Debbie, it's a brand new Tiger team this year. A lot of fresh faces, 9 newcomers altogether, but the one stabilizing force is a junior out of Virginia, Amir Sims.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with this guy, you will be by the end of tonight. He's projected to have a big game with his size and his skill set around the basket. This is something that he can do for Brad Brownell's club. Draw 2 on the block, stretch with escape dribble, and then make a play with his size and his skill set. He also is the best returning three-point shooter from last year. He made 43s. He can shoot the trail 3. He is a lot of offense for Brad Brownell. Last year, 7 shots a game. Expect him to be taking somewhere between 15 and 18 shots tonight.
Coming off his first career double-double in the season opener, 12 points and 15 boards. Clemson in the white, Presbyterian College in the blue. As we get things underway from Littlejohn Coliseum. Clemson's starting 5 featuring an all-freshman backcourt. The first time in 5 years Brad Brownell has started a freshman period in one of his teams. And an early scoop and score for Alamir Dawes, one of those freshmen from Newark, New Jersey.
That freshman backcourt is tough in this ACC, right? And you start out the season with a loss to Virginia Tech at home. And the experience is going to come through every day through repetition and through practice.
Meantime, for Presbyterian, they have just 4 seniors on their roster. Half of those are in the starting 5 tonight in their season opener. They did not play earlier this week, just an exhibition victory at home last week. They're kicking things off for real here this evening on the road.
Well, both teams start out in a man-to-man defense. This is Tevin Mack, a graduate transfer, and you see both possessions for Clemson are at the rim.
Mack, one of 5 transfers into the Clemson program here for this season, and that's a quick timeout, just over 1 minute in. Called by Quentin Farrell, the head coach of Presbyterian, and an early 4-0 lead for the home team here in Clemson. So out of the early timeout, there is the new head coach for Presbyterian, Quentin Farrell, not just in his first year at Presbyterian, not just in his first game as a college head coach, Debbie, his first game as a head coach, period, at any level.
Yeah, and a minute 3 into the game, he calls his first time out. Trying to get his guys to settle down. A couple of possessions, they didn't get what they wanted offensively, and they gave up 2 possessions at the rim.
What's the biggest concern for them opening on the road against an ACC team and trailing here in the first couple of minutes?
Well, you got to match the energy that you know Clemson's going to come with since they're coming off that loss to Virginia Tech. They weren't very happy around here the last couple of days inside Littlejohn.
Tevin Mack had it partially blocked. Presbyterian, a fast team. They like to run. Brad Brownell said he expects this Blue Hose team to be up and down the floor all night long. And that's the first foul on the Tigers.
So for Quentin Farrell, you know that you utilized a timeout and your team responded. They got stops and they get to the free throw line for their first chance to score. He has, as you said, Steve, his first year as a head coach. He was an assistant at Presbyterian. He played at Presbyterian. He was 21 years old when he got his first job at Presbyterian. He told me today he didn't have to be the dobo or the video guy. He right away got on the floor teaching and coaching, and that's his favorite part of his job.
Chris Martin at the free throw line here after the early foul on Amir Sims. And goes 1 for 2 at the stripe, but a second crack at it here for Presbyterian College coming up empty.
Yeah, number 12 in blue, Corey Hightower. He's their best player. Last year, freshman of the year in the Big South.
Triple from out high, and it falls for John Newman, the 6'5 sophomore from Greensboro, North Carolina. coming off a career-high 15 points on Tuesday in the loss on this floor to Virginia Tech. Martin driving, tough shot, but he gets it to fall in the lane.
What a tough two. What a determined young man, a 6-foot sophomore. He's only been in double figures 3 times in his career at Presbyterian. He needs to have a big night tonight for them to have a chance on the road.
Clemson trying to bounce back after that opening night loss on Tuesday to Virginia Tech. Didn't shoot the ball well, did not get much bench production, really went cold down the stretch too, and that's going to be a traveling violation against the Tigers.
Johnny Newman in a new role, career high 15 points against Virginia Tech, 2 points a game last year. Johnny Newman only averaged about 12 minutes a game. Well, he's going to probably play 30 minutes a game right now, at least until Clyde Trapp comes back and is healthy.
Yeah, Clemson missing several key figures. Point guard Clyde Trapp, who's out until January with an ACL injury. They also did not get clearance for Nick Honor, the transfer from Fordham, to play this year. Just found out yesterday that he has to sit out the entire season.
Another turnover for Presbyterian. That's their 3rd. All of them, though, dead ball turnovers, so it allows them to set their D in the quarter court.
New coach, new team. How long does it take typically to settle in? What would you expect from this Presbyterian team?
It takes a lot of time. I think the communication has to be consistent. You have to figure out exactly who can do what. And for Brad Brownell, there's a couple of pieces sitting on the bench for him with a couple of ACLs. They expect Clyde Trapp to be back, hopefully, in January. And possibly Jonathan Baer, transfer from UNC Asheville, might be back next month. They're hopeful that both those guys are going to be able to have a major role in what they do this year.
It's a foul on Trey Jemison, his first for Clemson. 2 huge absences once they get Honor into the program next year, and this is definitely a program at Clemson in an upward trajectory. Coming up on 4 minutes gone by, first half, they lead by 4. Looking for their first win of the season. Opening against a conference foe on Tuesday in Virginia Tech. Very rare, but just about everybody outside of Duke did that. Playing a conference game on opening night, how did you like that, Debbie?
Well, as a fan, I love it, because you get a chance to see the teams early. But as a coach, I would not like it because you get exposed early, and that's challenging in November.
Curran Scott. Offensive rebound, shot clock resets to 20 seconds. 3 ball pops out, but underneath it's Newman who got it blocked.
J.C. Younger inside, rebounding against the taller guys on the interior. There's a double team on Hightower. Makes a good play out of it.
Ben Drake, too strong on that 3. Out of bounds, over to Clemson. So just over 15 minutes left to go first half, and Clemson up by 4. ACC Network Basketball is brought to you by Food Lion, the official grocer of the ACC. Now Clemson may take some time to find their footing this season. They lost 4 of 5 starters from last year's team, 71% of their offense, and they're integrating those 9 newcomers this year. Marquise Reed, Elijah Thomas got so many points for them last year. And Debbie, that's going to be one of the key factors going forward for Brad Brownell. Who can he look to down the stretch in games to close things out? Who's his go-to guy?
I think it takes time to figure that out. Who can compete? Who's going to fight? Who's going to play hard off the loss, right? I think those are all question marks you're trying to figure out about this team. But, Marquise Reed and Sheldon Mitchell were both transfers. And Brad Brownell took a team, with those guys, took a team to the Sweet 16, okay? He knows how to coach. He's an excellent teacher. He has constantly put pieces together to try to find the right winning formula. It just takes time.
Trey Jemison with his second personal foul, so he's going to come out of the basketball game, the 7-footer from Birmingham, Alabama. Played 20 games last year, coming off of knee surgery, but back to 100% now. Brad Brownell also talked about scoring for his team. Last year, he knew he had a guy, if he needed to on any given night, who could go out, get 20, get 30 points. This year, it's going to have to be more collective, by committee.
Right. Well, he had really ball-dominant guards on the top of the floor, and that's part of the reason why you knew what you were going to get. They had the ball in their hands. You don't know that yet. I do think Dawes, the freshman point guard, is going to be fine. There's been last year, look at Xavier Johnson was a freshman at Pitt. He figured it out. It's a school of hard knocks for sure in the ACC.
Shot clock at 12. Martin trying to create, and standing on the sideline, Corey Hightower, out of bounds to the Tigers. 5th turnover already for Presbyterian. Well, we've got more college hoops for you Friday on the ACC Network, as first at 7, it's Georgia State taking on Duke, and then it's Gardner-Webb facing North Carolina from Chapel Hill. Both games also live on the ESPN app. And now the Blue Hose with numbers back the other direction, but blocked from behind.
Terrific job by Kayvon Moore in transition to recover off the turnover. There's your team speed in transition getting back. And I think Brad Brown got to be pleased right now with his defense. He's only given up 1 field goal to Presbyterian at this point in the game.
And this team playing with energy and a level of intensity that Brad Brownell was kind of concerned about. Coming off the loss to Virginia Tech, he said coming into this game, as Martin gets the scoop and score for the Blue Hose, he said, you know what? It's not as high profile of an opponent as we had in Virginia Tech, maybe a smaller crowd. Our guys are going to have to find their own way to motivate themselves, get up, and bounce back from the loss. And so far, so good. 3-point basket from the corner by John Newman.
Hey, Johnny Newman is letting the game come to him. He's not forcing any shots. He's been on the offensive glass. He's playing with a high motor tonight.
Hightower. Newman leading the break. And Mack scoping out a 3.
Kevin Mack, a graduate transfer from Alabama. Played in a lot of big games in his career.
Martin takes aim at a 3 himself. Tipped around. And the Blue Hose throwing it out of bounds.
Well, Chris Martin, he's got both baskets for Presbyterian. Another terrific job. Switches to his offhand. And then Clemson comes right back. Johnny Newman knocking down the corner triple.
His offense wasn't as consistent during his freshman year, but really worked to improve that over the summer. Now Newman is a sophomore.
He didn't really get a lot of minutes last year.
And that's a 3 ball from Curran Scott, graduate student from Edmond, Oklahoma. Played his freshman year at UNC Charlotte before transferring to Tulsa and eventually making his way here to Clemson. Inside of 13 minutes remaining in the first frame. Clemson with their largest lead of this first half. Shot clock at 5. Cody Schubert. And Sims clears the glass. Newman. Scott. And a 3.
That all got started because Sims got a great defensive rebound and pushed the ball up the floor quickly. That's hard to match up with the speed of Clemson when they play like that in transition.
Clemson 4 of 5 from downtown now.
I think they're going to be a much better three-point shooting team this year than they were last year. They got more weapons outside the arc.
Traveling violation on Hightower.
Clemson has moved this early lead up to double digits. The push by Newman, the triple by Scott. Tigers up 11.
Presbyterian College, a small school of just over 1,100 students in Clinton, South Carolina, which is just over an hour southeast of here, but They are coming off a record season a year ago in basketball. 20 wins for the first time since they went Division I, which was back in the 2012-2013 season. Broke several school records along the way for scoring, rebounding, and assists. And now have the first-year head coach, former student and player Quentin Farrell, leading the charge as they try to build upon that monster year a season ago. Curran Scott already has a couple of threes, can't find the touch there, but John Newman, ever present all over the floor, is there to clean it up.
When you play through Amir Sims, good things are going to happen. Curran did a great job of lifting on the weak side, and when you take shots that you know you're supposed to take inside the system, you can get to the glass.
Meanwhile, Chris Martin has all 5 points for Presbyterian. He's 2 of 3 from the field. The rest of the team 0 for 6. Make that 0 for 7.
Well,
Eisler lost it going back up.
I like that Quentin Farrell is trying to get Cody Hightower going off his timeout. He's your best player, freshman of the year last year in the Big South.
They play into Sims.
The last 2 possessions off the timeout, Sims gets a touch.
When you're a first-year head coach and your team's struggling to score like this early on, what can you do?
What can you do? You got to keep working, and you got to keep trying to get stops, and maybe you can get some runouts because they're really struggling in the quarter court to score against Clemson's defense. So you got to get to the free throw line, and you got to try to get something in transition. And the way you can get in transition against Clemson is to get a stop and a rebound.
Sims and Younger had it tied up. Arrow favors Presbyterian. Well, on Saturday, we have a college football triple header for you on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Florida State faces BC at noon Eastern, then Wake Forest goes up against Virginia Tech. And then finally at 7:30, it's Notre Dame and Duke in our ACC Network primetime matchup presented by Geico. All 3 games live and on the ESPN app. Full throttle into college basketball here in this first week of November, but don't forget some big college football games coming up as well. Last I heard, this was still a pretty good football school, and
this is a big
they'll
football.
be in your neck of the woods on Saturday to take on NC State.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are concerned about Clemson being number 5 in the college football playoff.
Are you concerned?
No, I'm not concerned at all. I think Clemson's going to win out, and they're going to be one of the 4 teams. I don't know where they'll be, 1 through 4, but there's a couple of teams ahead of them. They're definitely going to lose at least one. Penn State or Ohio State's going to lose, and this weekend, the big football game, LSU and Alabama. Everybody's watching that, right?
Alex Hemingway, the freshman, off the bench with his first triple, extending the lead to 21-5 as we go over the halfway point of our first half of play.
Really good defense that time right there by Dawes.
10 turnovers now for Presbyterian.
Well, if you're going to throw it away, you need to throw it in the 5th row. You don't want to allow Clemson to use their speed transitioning the other way. You're overmatched at every position. Clemson's bigger at every position except for the point guard spot.
This is a 14-0 run that Clemson is in the midst of. Having their way with the Blue Hose here. Another 3. And another offensive rebound. Kayvon Moore couldn't capitalize. Now Martin stripped as he tried to go up, and it's Moore.
Another good defensive play by the freshman Dawes. Dawes has incredible speed. Sometimes when you're a young guy and you're trying to figure it out, that you hesitate a little bit because you're thinking too much and not just relying on your instincts.
Hunter Tyson missing back-to-back 3-point attempts here for the Tigers.
Hunter Tyson has got to shoot the ball with confidence. He's not shooting the ball with confidence. He's also got to have the ability to self-correct.
The Blue Hose trying to create. J.C. Younger finally gets inside to lay it up and in. And finally, someone other than Chris Martin on the scoreboard. And it's the 6'4" senior from Louisiana.
Yeah, the spacing way off for Clemson that time. They had 4 guys on the strong side and nowhere to go. And that's part of what Brad Brownell's trying to figure out. When you're substituting, you're trying to get guys in different rotations. You're trying to figure out who can play with whom.
That's a lot to take in, a lot to digest, isn't it?
It is when you have this many new guys and you have to play your first game at home against an ACC opponent.
And now you're trying to bounce back against a non-conference opponent here and trying to still implement so many different things. I mean, realistically, how long does it take for a coach to really know his team, to figure out what their identity is going to be?
I think you're constantly evolving. I don't think you ever stay the same. I think you're constantly looking at ways to change and tweak. You got your basic concepts in, but there are going to be things that Brad Brownell is going to tinker with as the season goes on. You don't want to play all your cards right now. This is just November.
Tevin Mack had an open lane, took advantage, and after the J.C. Younger three-point ball on the other end, Mack gets 2 of those points right back.
But if you were wondering whether your team would respond off the home loss, I think Brad Brownell got a really good answer from his guys.
That's a great backdoor look from Chris Martin as he finds Corey Hightower, a 6'7" sophomore from Clinton, Michigan, whose dad is also Corey Hightower, the NBA pro for over a decade. Open 3 for Dawes. And a foul on the Tigers with just north of 7 minutes left to go first half. All Clemson here at home.
Back in Clemson, South Carolina, the Tigers with an 11-point lead based on the shooting of John Newman outside the arc. 9 made threes all of last season. He already has 2 in this game. And Curran Scott, again from behind the arc. Clemson has combined for 5 3-point made baskets, and Newman and Curran Scott have 4 of the 5. Johnny Newman's entire role has changed from last year to this year. And there's a gift for Clemson on a turnover.
Now 13 turnovers for Presbyterian here. Under 7 to play first half. Newman again. And the rebound to Ben Drake.
I love that John Newman is shooting the basketball with confidence. He's seeking shots. He's worked hard in the offseason. He's averaged 13 points when they were in Italy, winning the World University Games.
They find Drake inside. And the redshirt senior from Georgia, who only started playing basketball as a junior in high school, is on the scoreboard here tonight at Clemson as Dawes gets the backdoor feed from Sims and scores.
Really nice basket cut. You got to cut to score, and that's what Dawes did off the post entry to Sims at the high post.
J.C. Younger, who has the only 3-point basket for Presbyterian, off the mark here. Half a dozen minutes left to go. First half. Big lead for the Tigers, who have led from the outset. Tevin Mack behind the back, ducking in and laying it up and in.
Great slip by Sims, creates that space for Mack to make a play.
He's got 6 points. Martin double teamed, goes down hard, no foul.
Yeah, Quentin Farrell looking for a foul. I agree with him.
But then Clemson turns it over. Martin thought about the 3. Younger takes a peek, and he's got his second triple.
See, that's a great job by Chris Martin. He could have taken the 3. That would have been selfish. He gave it up to a better 3-point shooter in J.C. Younger. Watch right here, the hesitation and the allowing J.C. Younger to get in position to set his feet and to let it fly in transition.
Younger now tied for game-high scoring honors with 8, tied with Newman for Clemson.
And that's exactly what Presbyterian could use, is for this guy to get hot. He made 9 threes in a game last year for a career-high 30, so Clemson knows on the scout that he can shoot it from deep.
Now last year, one of the best three-point shooters in the country at 44%, has played every game each of the last 2 years for this program. One of their most consistent factors offensively after a high school career where he scored over 2,000 points down in Louisiana. And keeping Presbyterian within arm's length, still down by double digits as we approach 5 minutes left to go first half. Curran Scott, soft touch from the free throw line for the grad student from Oklahoma.
Let's see if Presbyterian can get Corey Hightower going. He's 1 for 5 from the floor. Here he is right here, number 12 with the ball.
Hightower finding Drake. Shot clock in single digits. Martin double teamed, 3 to shoot. Lost the handle. And out of bounds to Clemson.
That's just a smart defensive play by Sims. And you know Brad Brownell's a terrific defensive coach. That's not a call on that trap right there, Steve. That's just a play. As soon as Martin turned his back, Sims brought the double, especially late in the shot clock.
14 turnovers for the Blue Hose. Amir Sims. And a foul on Presbyterian. Looks like Chris Martin will be charged. Actually, they're going to give it to Ben Drake. His first personal foul. And just the second team foul on the Blue Hose here. Alamir Dawes. Newman came flying in for the rebound. And it's out of bounds to Presbyterian. Boy, Newman, he can get up. And he's been active at both ends of the floor. And he, more than any other player, I think, has been crashing the offensive boards with authority.
I think he's going to have a big year. And I think when Clyde Trapp is healthy and he comes back, he's going to allow Johnny Newman to be able to be more efficient on both ends of the floor. He's having another experienced player out there.
There is Ben Drake. So we've got the Drake for Presbyterian, Newman for Clemson. Gotta love the Drake, and hello, Newman.
Nice. I thought that was a travel.
Martin with the shot clock winding down. Hightower has to hoist it up.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job of limiting what Corey Hightower can do, and that was on top of the scouting report. That's another thing that I think Brad Brownell will be pleased with at halftime.
And the foul is on Presbyterian. 3.5 to go. Still Clemson with a commanding lead on their home floor. A lot of ACC basketball packed in the last 48 hours to open the season. And Debbie, how about Cole Anthony and his debut last night in Chapel Hill, equaling the point total of the entire Syracuse team at home at the Carrier Dome?
I mean, Cole Anthony is fantastic. He's been projected as, by some experts, to be player of the year in the league. I think he's going to put up those kind of numbers every night. I think he's that skilled, that capable, and he's going to have the ball in his hands.
And they're going to need him.
A
lot of new faces in Chapel Hill as well. We talked about all of the turnover in this Clemson program, but across the conference, a lot of new faces.
A lot of opportunity for new guys to step up, and a lot of good young freshmen in the league, not just at Duke and North Carolina. There's a good-looking freshman for Brad Brownell, Chase Hunter.
6 3-point basket for Clemson here in this first half.
Well, Roy Williams likes to play fast. Everybody knows that, and he has bigs that run the floor hard. And that creates all kind of space at the top of the floor for Cole Anthony. I just think that guy is going to have a great year and going to be really fun to watch.
Driving all the way inside, Curran Scott couldn't even get the shot up. He was inched among the big men. Now Hightower to a wide open Chris Martin down on the blocks.
Yeah, a great piece of film for why you match up in transition for Brad Brownell tomorrow with his team.
That's one of the things he said that he did not want to allow with his Presbyterian team. Transition baskets. Didn't want to allow turnovers like that either. And it's going to be a foul in transition by the Tigers.
Foul is called on Curran Scott.
And it's Curran Scott with his first personal. 16th foul now on Clemson.
Back in for the Tigers, number 15, John Littlejohn III.
Tomorrow on the ACC Network, we've got the ACC Women's Soccer Tournament semifinals at 2:30 and 5 Eastern. Then on Sunday, the Field Hockey Championship game at 11 a.m. Eastern, followed by the Men's Soccer Tournament quarters at 1, 3, 5, and 7. That is your Google Calendar alert. That is a lot of activity coming up this weekend. All of those games live and on the ESPN app as well. Curran Scott quickly has 2 personal fouls now for Clemson, and it's a 1-and-1 for the Blue Hose. And this puts Chris Martin at the free throw line. Such a tremendous athlete, the sophomore from Charlotte. Played football, baseball, and was a state champion in track and field back in high school. And that's the second three-point basket by Chase Hunter, the freshman from Atlanta.
Really great screen by Amir Sims. Now, Sims has not scored in the first half, but those are the kind of plays that are unselfish and you don't see on the stat sheet what coaches see.
Corey Hightower to the cutter for the score.
Michael Eisler, a freshman. The staff for Presbyterian was talking about him today. He's a right side of the box score kind of guy. That is a high flyer.
Had 12 points in their exhibition win a week ago.
And I say right side of the box score, Steve, I'm talking about assist points. Not necessarily a shooter, more of a slasher.
There is another triple for Clemson. Curran Scott, who is now 3 of 4 from downtown. And as a team, the Tigers are at 50% from beyond the arc now here in this first half of play as we work our way down to the final minute. The lead is 17, largest of the game so far. Hightower can convert on the hook. Chase Hunter left wide open and from way outside. And a whistle away from the ball. It's going to go against the Blue Hose.
A heat check on one end and a throwdown on the other by Michael Eisler. What a great backdoor cut.
Second personal foul on Ben Drake. And there's just over half a minute now left to go. Only 4 team fouls for Presbyterian College. So the inbound from underneath the Blue Hose basket. Kayvon Moore for Newman. Elevating, scoring, and heading to the free throw line.
That is a big time set right there. Each time they pass through the chute, Presbyterian's defense got deeper into the paint and allowed Newman some space to get to the rim. That is a great athletic play by John Newman, who sets up that drive with his terrific three-point shooting in the first half.
Newman, the second Tiger into double figures here in this first half, along with Curran Scott, who has 11. Newman now looking to match that total here at the stripe. And the lead an even 20 with just over 20 seconds left. What stuck out the most about the first 20 for you, Debbie?
The three-point shooting for Clemson, how they share the basketball, and they've gotten uncontested looks outside the arc because they've done a good job of moving.
And a chance in the final seconds. Newman all the way with authority. The exclamation point at the end of a dominant first half here at Littlejohn Coliseum. He leads all scores with 13 points at the break. That's the way you finish out the first 20. And coming up at the intermission, we'll have Jordan Cornett's ACC storylines of the season, Debbie's ticket-selling players, plus the pictures and the numbers from our first half here at Clemson. The home team trying to bounce back from a loss on opening night. And so far, so good. 43-21 is the margin for Clemson over Presbyterian. The second half about to commence at Clemson, and the Tigers with their largest lead of the night, 22 points with 20 minutes now left to play. Once again, Steve Schlanger with Debbie Antonelli. Well, Debbie, this is the largest lead of the game for the Tigers, and a lot of this was built courtesy of the three-point shot.
I thought they did a terrific job, Clemson, in moving the ball and being able to build a commanding lead. When you watch the way they move the basketball and where the passes are, it's early, it's just November, but everything's in the shooting pocket, which allows the shooter to get into the rhythm of their jumper. There's good ball movement, good spacing, 8 triples in the first half. Clemson scored more points from the three-point line than PC did overall. And you look at Newman and Scott combined for 5 of the 8 three-pointers and combined for 24 points. That's the kind of production that Brad Brownell will need and will count on, while Amir Sims is scoreless in the first half.
Yeah, consider that. It's the largest lead of the game for Clemson. The only starter who did not score in the first half is probably their best player, Amir Sims, as they come right back out, pick up where they left off with another Chase Hunter three-point basket. He's now 3 of 4 from downtown.
Well, here's the thing. Presbyterian has been double-teaming Sims on the block, and Brad Brownell knows that, so he puts him on the block in the first possession to draw 2. He unselfishly helps reverse the basketball and get an open 3. That's what Sims can do. There's no selfishness in his game. He wants to win, and that's part of being a leader. He's going to spot up from three-point line.
Comes up short, and J.C. Younger, who has the only 2 three-point baskets for Presbyterian, got the rebound. Now look at the lack of bench production by Presbyterian. Compared to Clemson, they have almost 3 times as many bench points in one half tonight as they had in the entire opening game against Virginia Tech here on Tuesday.
Well, and conversely for Presbyterian, Corey Hightower just 1 for 7. Clemson has done an excellent job defending him with multiple guys.
Again, it's Chase Hunter looking for that long one.
And
a rare miss.
And Sims, the facilitator, can see over the top of that defense and throw the skip pass.
Into Ben Drake. And Drake has the first points of the second half for Presbyterian. Well, Quentin Farrell, first-year head coach for the Blue Hose, with a big task at hand here. What was the message to his team in the locker room at the break as Newman just casually drains another three-point basket, and now he has a career-high 16 points.
Well, it's the first time that Quentin Farrell has gone into the locker room as the head coach at halftime. And so I'm sure, in a game like this where you know you're a little bit overmatched from the beginning anyway, you're still asking your guys to build and develop the habits that you want them to have. So you might not be making shots, but are you getting the shots that you want? Are you doing the things defensively from a rotation standpoint?
Tevin Mack scoping out a 3 and jarring it. And a timeout by Farrell. Remember, he took that first timeout 1 minute into the first half, takes his first timeout less than 3 minutes into the second half as Clemson's pulling away.
If John Newman's going to shoot like this every night, and Clemson is going to have a chance to have a career high out of him the next few games. He's been terrific outside the arc. This is great balance by Clemson. Unselfish play. They've moved the basketball. They've got 9 assists on 20 baskets, but they've been 11 for 22 outside the arc. And Brad Brownell has been talking about how this is going to be a much better three-point shooting team. They certainly have proven that tonight.
Newman with career highs in each of the first 2 games now for Clemson here to start the campaign. And a 17-2 run for the Tigers over Presbyterian going back to the last few minutes of that first half. Shot clock at 8. Ben Drake on the spin. J.C. Younger. Rebounded by Tyson. And he's going to be fouled by Martin.
Foul is on Chris. makes his second team's
I think everyone that's a Clemson fan would love to see Hunter Tyson get going outside the arc. He was 0 for 3 in the opening night, and he is yet to score from outside the arc tonight as well. 0 for 2. This is him with the ball right there, number 5 in white.
Dawes scoping out the 3. The team has shot so well collectively from 3, but Tyson just hasn't found his touch as of yet.
I mean, he's 6'8", he's known as a shooter. When he comes in the game, that's a big part of his job and responsibility is to make threes.
Drake finding a way to score here for Presbyterian College. He's got half a dozen on the night. Now out of the timeout for Quentin Farrell and this Blue Hose team. How do they not get overwhelmed by what's taking place?
I think they are overwhelmed.
How do they handle it? How do you process it?
Well, you have to, like I said before, you have to keep working and keep trying to get shots that you know that you can make in your system. And you don't change what you demand from your team. And you play this game so that you can get better.
It's the first basket of the night for Hunter Tyson. Just over 4 minutes deep, second half. They've used the back door relatively well tonight, but Hightower couldn't finish.
Sims, the terrific defensive play.
Now Sims facing up on Drake, shoots over him. And a whistle away from the basketball, and this will go against Clemson. 54-25, a sizable advantage for the Tigers here at Littlejohn. Tobacco Road occupying the top 2 spots in the ACC preseason poll. Louisville, who looked really good in beating Miami on the road the other night, they're at number 3. Virginia and Florida State rounding out the top 5. This Clemson team picked to finish just outside of the top 10. This is a team coming off a down year a season ago, lost in the second round of the NIT, and that was on the back of their Sweet 16 appearance the year before. Last year, Brad Brownell had maybe one of his most talented teams. They lost a lot of heartbreaking games, though, and now with several new faces this year trying to build it back up.
Well, back-to-back 20-win campaigns for Coach Brownell. 2 years removed from going to the Sweet 16. The ACC is not friendly to anyone in this league. They've got to play Louisville, Wake Forest, NC State twice, North Carolina on the road, Duke here at home. At Virginia, I mean, it's daunting every night in this league. There's no easy out.
Chase Hunter, third player for the Tigers, into double figures with 11 points now. And yet another turnover by the Blue Hose, 17 on the night.
And on the other side, you know, Presbyterian was picked to the bottom of their league in the Big South. There weren't many expectations put on them this year. This is a young team that Quentin Farrell's trying to figure out with 4 sophomores and 7 freshmen. That's the majority of your team.
Hunter Tyson has been off target all night long from 3. Cody Schubert lost the handle. And now they'll reset. Just over 5 minutes gone by here in the second half. Here's Cody Schubert trying to drive, gets double teamed, once again has to back it out, taking aim at the 3 and coming up short though is Jordan Gibson, the sophomore from Bristow, Virginia, coming in off the bench tonight.
Good recognition on the switch.
And Trey Jemison gets fouled down low. We've got more college hoops coming up on Friday. First at 7 p.m. Eastern, it's Georgia State facing Duke. Then after that, it's Gardner-Webb and Chapel Hill to take on Carolina. Both games also live and on the ESPN app.
If Cole Anthony put 34 on Mike Bray's defense, how many do you think he's going to get against Gardner-Webb?
Can you slide me the calculator and I can try and figure it out?
Can he do back-to-back 30-point nights? Or would he prefer a triple-double? Which one do you think?
Alex Hemingway staring down a three, and he plants it. And for Clemson, what a night from beyond the arc. Their 12th made three-point shot.
Yeah, they really shot the ball with confidence. You know, I was here yesterday for practice. They got a lot of shots up this morning. They went at shoot around at 7:30. Got a lot of shots up. It's early. You got to keep infusing confidence into your young team.
Yeah, getting shots up when you can barely get up for a 7:30 shoot around, not easy. Daylight for another triple. And a foul on Jemison. And he's the first player with 3 fouls in the game.
Number 15, Owen McCormick, checks in for the Blue Hose.
Now, Owen McCormick making his first appearance in the game for the Blue Hose. And Debbie, I know what you're saying. Schlanger's been saying Blue Hose all night. The nickname of the Presbyterian College team. What does it mean? Where does it come from?
I have been wondering that.
I'm going to drop some knowledge on you right now. It goes all the way back to the early 1900s. The local sports writers in Clinton, South Carolina came up with the name because the football team was always wearing blue socks. So they said, we've got no other name. Let's just go by the attire and call them the Blue Hose. And it stuck. Running the floor and getting it to drop. That is C.J. Melton, a freshman from Hoover, Alabama. And these two schools that are separated by just over an hour, as Clinton, South Carolina, where Presbyterian is located, is just southeast of here. They've played a lot over the years. This is their 77th meeting here tonight. Clemson has a huge lead in the series, and they've won the last 8 in succession. But tonight is the first get-together in the last 3 years, as Chase Hunter knocks it down.
And so Presbyterian's ball pressure and their intensity has certainly dropped off a lot. And it's tough if you play by the scoreboard. But see, that's something that Quentin Farrell's team's going to have to learn. Now, I know Quentin Farrell, he's a competitor. And he will take advantage of an opportunity to break down some film against a more athletic team. Stick around, let's see if Clemson can hit some more threes.
The gold medal for the World University Games is an incredibly rewarding experience. I tease Dabo Sweeney that he's a 2-time national champ, but I'm a world champ, so I've got one up on that at least. He's got to go international for him to battle with us.
Clemson representing Team USA at the World University Games this summer. And how about former Clemson running back C.J. Spiller in the house tonight, the All-American here at Clemson, who played for 5 NFL teams before it was all said and done.
Really nice guy, met him at halftime. Here to support Brad Brownell and the Clemson Tigers.
Owen McCormick knocking it down from 3.
That's promising with his size at 6'9". They're expecting him to knock down triples. I've got shooter written down next to my notes after watching him in practice today.
Good call. The lead still 31. Brad Brownell said his team got a lot out of going to the World University Games, such a tremendous bonding experience. They went 6-0, did not lose a game, won the gold medal. And it was one of those, not only a bonding experience, but a way just to forge more relationships within the team. Shot clock about to expire here.
Really good
and there's
job
the horn
by Dawes. Really nice job anticipating out in the passing lane.
That was their path through the World University Games, ending up with that win over Ukraine. And a decisive one at that. For USA, it was the first gold medal in 3 years overseas. And now trying to take some of the chemistry, the culture, and the positive vibes from that event and bring it into the new season of college basketball. Didn't get off to the best start with the loss to Virginia Tech here on Tuesday, but certainly rebounding with this performance against Presbyterian tonight. Curran Scott strong on the 3. And an offensive rebound shot clock resetting to 20 seconds as a result. One of several new rules in the game this year. Shot clock goes back to 20 on every offensive rebound. As Trey Jemison, playing with those 3 fouls, gets the basket and the whistle.
They're calling a flop on Presbyterian, which counts as a delay of game. That's one of the other new rules.
Yep.
There's the flop right there. They let the play finish out. And then there's the flop called. So that's one delay. If you get a second delay, that's a technical foul on the next person who causes a delay of some sort.
Yeah, one of the new distinct rules. I mentioned the shot clock resetting on an offensive rebound to 20 seconds. The three-point line has been moved back to the international distance as well. And now a Tiger down here on the baseline. Alex Hemingway, who came off the bench earlier in the game. Now he took the elbow to the face. He's been holding his leg, though, as well.
Well, you certainly don't want to speculate.
Freshman from Newburgh, Indiana. Brad Brownell, very high on him, says he has maybe the best basketball IQ of anybody on the team. Such a versatile player, can contribute in so many ways. And good to see him help to his feet here.
Number 12, Alex Hemingway.
This is a team that's been hit with some hard injuries. Again, their main point guard, Clyde Trapp, is still out until January with an ACL. Also, Jonathan Baer is expected to come back in December after his ACL injury. It's just hard to see exactly what happened. He had his own player, Jemison, who kind of collided with him. And then Jemison with the block, but they're going to call the goaltend. Trey Jemison, 7 feet, 256 pounds, as Chase Hunter checks back in. Midway through the second half of play, all Clemson, 63-32. Going back to the new rules we had talked about earlier, Debbie, one of the other ones was trying to reduce the physicality in the game, and that was a physical dunk by Jemison there. Among all of the rules that they're trying to change going forward into this new campaign, what do you think is going to have the biggest impact?
I think the 20-second shot clock reset is going to give teams more offensive possessions, which I like. I think that's always good. I think the hook and hold is definitely a call that coaches are adjusting to and have tried to clean up. It's for player safety, so I'm all for that, especially seeing Hemingway be carried off the court. I'm all about safety in the game.
Kayvon Moore with the block, and another Tiger down. That's Hunter Tyson, slow to get up. And Quentin Farrell with wholesale substitutions now.
Nice job by Hunter Tyson to get back in transition, get his feet set outside the arc.
It was an offensive foul on C.J. Melton.
Now let's see if Hunter Tyson can make a play on the offensive end. Sometimes when you make a play on the defensive end, Might change your attitude on the offensive end somewhat. Maybe you'll be a little more aggressive if you're looking for another shot. That was a nice floater he threw off the glass before.
Kayvon Moore spinning. And another opportunity for Clemson.
So Jamison down about 30 pounds and stronger and lighter on his feet. He moves better, looks quicker.
Moore finds him at the elbow. Jamison against Drake as the shot clock was about to expire.
Well,
Ray Jamison.
That's a play right there that he's going to have to be able to make. It's going to help Clemson a lot if he can get that half hook over his left shoulder.
And that's going to be a foul on Kayvon Moore of the Tigers.
Foul is on 21. His first.
Nice lead. Terrific penetration. Chase Hunter, perfect delivery, great timing. And he leaves it off for the 7-footer at the rim.
Sophomore from Birmingham, #1 player in the state of Alabama at his position coming out of high school. Heavy dose of him so far here in this second half. It's down to just about 8 minutes left to play. Hunter to a wide open Scott, and Moore just too easy on the follow. Kayvon Moore came swooping in. And that's going to be a foul against the Tigers here on the other end.
Hey, there's Frankie Antonelli with his roommate Sam from the Clemson Life Program. Sporting the brand tonight. Frankie, thank you so much for doing that. That's my boy.
Brad Brownell now in his 10th season here as the coach at Clemson, and after tonight will be just 7 wins away from tying for the most all-time in program history, and has led the Tigers to 3 consecutive postseason appearances. Debbie, what do you like most about what he's done with this Clemson program?
I think he's a terrific teacher. I think he's really good at putting the pieces together. I think he has the perfect personality and demeanor to be here. I love the fact that he can bust Dabo and they get along so well. I see President Clements and his wife Beth were sitting behind the bench. Big supporters of the Clemson program, athletics, and all around. Great president for this university.
Brownell, the longest tenured coach in school history now, too.
He's the kind of guy that you could have a cup of coffee with, and he's also the kind of guy that you could drink a beer with. Just a good guy. His family's rooted here. His daughters go to school here.
Tevin Mack on that last basket, now with 11 points, and it's 4 Tigers into double figures on the night.
And a single-digit golfer. He's an excellent golfer.
Meantime, number 12, Corey Hightower for Presbyterian, just has not been able to get anything started offensively. Mack, this time from outside in the corner, and he buries the 3. 14 points, second highest score on this Clemson team here this evening. And for the team altogether, their 13th triple.
Half the shots that Clemson has taken tonight have been outside the arc.
And it's the basket and 1 for Chris Martin.
Basket good for Chris Martin.
Well, he's getting up there. Should be able to pass Cliff Ellis this season. Already been here longer than any other coach, and now poised to become the winningest head coach in Clemson program history. And you mentioned that he's the kind of guy you could have coffee or a beer with, and once he gets that record, maybe you can have coffee and beer in the same sitting. I mean, just bring out the whole smorgasbord at that point to celebrate.
I mean, I learned something from Brad each time I cover his team. I think he's very good at emphasizing what he wants and communicating it effectively to his team. I think his staff is terrific, and they work really hard to get their players ready.
Something they've done tonight that he pointed out that they didn't do against Virginia Tech on Tuesday when they did have the lead is having the mentality of killing the game, of stretching the lead, not just being satisfied. As the collision with the official on the far side, Michael Eisler, at 6'4", A freshman from Albany, Georgia, had to pull up.
Doug Schaus, a veteran official, did a pretty good job of moving his feet over there. I definitely would call that a charge.
I think he would too. 5-second violation on Chase Hunter. And a timeout taken by Brad Brownell and the Tigers with just inside of 6 minutes left to go. And there's Brownell still coaching. Got a big lead, but again, I was talking about it just a moment ago. He wants his team, when they have a lead, to stretch the lead, expand on the margin, not be content at any point. He's not worried about the score at this point or the fact that they're going to win, but it's about still playing.
No, it's what I was just referring to about detail and about what you emphasize and what you demand and what you expect. And you're not playing to the scoreboard right now. You're playing to get better. If you could just get better every day, knowing what lies ahead. You can't have success in the ACC unless you have a vision about what you're going to go up against. And he's not going to put up with any nonsense, not getting the ball in bounds. That means that somebody didn't cut hard or somebody didn't set a good screen, and those details matter every possession.
And he was saying that there's something to be gained, learned in every situation, whether you're winning big, losing big, or somewhere in between. Shot clock into single digits here. J.C. Younger had a couple of three-point baskets in the first half. Drake had it knocked away underneath, but it's going to be a foul on Kayvon Moore of Clemson, his second personal.
So I think one of the things for Quentin Farrell and his staff is to figure out how to get Hightower going, where to put him on the floor, where he can be most effective offensively. You know, taking care of the basketball. He's got a lot of good guard play, does Quentin Farrell.
And for Quentin Farrell, this is still a learning process for him as well. Again, we mentioned it earlier. This is his first ever head coaching job at any level, and this is game one. So he's got a young team that's trying to figure it out. He's trying to figure it out as well. And Hunter Tyson finally figuring it out from three. After several misses in the first half, he has two now for the game as the Tigers stretch the advantage with 5 minutes to go.
Well, Clemson has 14 triples, but their record is 16. Think they can get it in the next 5 minutes? It's a lot of three-point shooting, but from a lot of different players. Wide open.
They've gotten contributions from downtown from several different perimeter snipers here tonight. And overall, 4 different players in double digits for the Tigers here at home. Martin against Jemison, and he draws the contact. And that's going to be his 5th personal, so he's fouled out. Now Saturday, we have another college football triple header here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app as Florida State goes head-to-head with BC. Wake Forest facing Virginia Tech, and then at 7:30, it's Notre Dame against Duke down in Durham in the ACC Network primetime matchup presented by Geico. All 3 games also live and on the ESPN app. So Jemison exits, first player to foul out on the night, really the only player in foul trouble here this evening. And Martin at the stripe. 3 for 6 from the line tonight for the sophomore from Charlotte.
Parker Fox checks in, number 5 in white. Doesn't get a whole lot of playing time. He's a walk-on, his dad Mark.
Now Clemson still moving on offense. Working the perimeter. Shot clock all the way down to 2. And they fail to get the offensive rebound with Kayvon Moore. But Presbyterian cannot take advantage, throwing it away with just inside of 4 minutes left to go. The 20th turnover of the night for the Blue Hose.
14 triples for Clemson in the basketball game tonight. Everyone got involved in knocking down and draining threes. 6 different guys hit a triple tonight. John Newman, he had 3. Chase Hunter, he had 3. Curran Scott, he got 3. Tevin Mack he had a couple. But I thought Clemson did a terrific job of moving the basketball with 4 guys in double figures, shared the ball unselfishly, and they've done all this scoring. And Amir Sims, 0 for 4 in the first half. Or 0 for 4 in the game, I'm sorry.
Right. Their leading scorer from last year coming back for this season, and it's everybody else that's had the biggest impact offensively, but he's also had an impact in other areas.
He definitely has an impact in spacing and creating opportunities. He doesn't have any assists, but we would call it a coach's assist. There were a lot of times he facilitated an open shot or the pass that led to the assist.
Tied up, and the arrow favors the Blue Hose, as remember we saw Alex Hemingway go down a little while ago. He's exiting on crutches now with that left foot heavily wrapped. Now, they certainly can't afford to lose too many other players. We highlighted some of the injuries, the ACLs to Clyde Trapp and Jonathan Baer, 2 significant players that'll be back in the next few months. And now finally a rare 3 for Presbyterian from Sean Jenkins, the freshman from Spartanburg, South Carolina, less than an hour up the road here.
Sean Jenkins has been on the Irish national team since he was U12. He's only been in the United States 2 years at Spartanburg High School.
His dad actually played here at Clemson. He was born in Ireland, but living here in the U.S. And now, Debbie, you think about what the potential might be for this Clemson team, as we talked about the injuries and also the ineligibility of Nick Honor, a guy who's transferring from Fordham but won't be able to play until next year. Once they get all the pieces to the puzzle put together, it's going to be a pretty deep team. Now, Honor won't be a factor this year, but when you think about the big picture, Clemson picked to finish 11th in the ACC this season. Will they outperform that, do you think? How's it all going to shake out?
Yeah, I mean, you saw a shot at Kayvon Moore, who's getting ready to get subbed out. He's going to play a factor. That's what I'm talking about in terms of Brad Brownell's ability to put the pieces together. Jonathan Baer, he is going to play a significant role. Clyde Trapp is going to have a role. And I think it's going to change the way Clemson defends. It's going to change their rotations. It's going to make practice that much more competitive for playing time.
Clemson with those 14 three-point baskets, matching a season high from a year ago. What's interesting, though, they've only had 1 free throw on the night. 2 minutes left to go now. And a traveling violation on the Blue Hose.
It's been frustrating for Corey Hightower, the 6'7" sophomore. But you know, when you're the freshman of the year in your league, you're going to get the best defender every night.
Well, Saturday at 11 Eastern, join us here on the ACC Network for The Huddle as they get you set for the Saturday slate of football and much more, live from Durham this Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Corey Hightower, and as you mentioned, a lot of potential. 6'7" sophomore from Flint, Michigan, and his father playing over 10 years in the NBA. Selected in the second round by the Spurs. I remember they then traded him on draft day to the Lakers. It was an LA team coming off their NBA championship in the 2000 season and trying to fit some other pieces in around Shaq and Kobe at the time. And a block. Backside by Michael Eisler. And for this Presbyterian team with a minute and a half left to go, Quentin Farrell in his first day on the job. Definitely a learning experience and a growing experience. Another metric to add as they look forward and try and build from here. Interesting that Farrell told us earlier today that here he was on his first day as a head coach at any level, and he said, I don't know what to do. It's game day, and I've never had this situation before. How do I plan my day? Where do I go? What do I do?
Right. I asked him, are you going to come out while their team's warming up for the game, or are you going to stay in the locker room? He's like, I don't know. I haven't thought about it. I've been trying to figure out that it could be lonely as a head coach on game day. Everybody leaves you alone. Nobody wants to talk to you.
Young team finding its way, and the head coach also in the middle of that process as well as it begins here tonight.
Even the walk-ons, Brad Brownell is spending time teaching. He doesn't. Everybody's in. You know, it's the all-in. It's the Clemson way.
Curran Scott here at the free throw line. One of the 4 players in double figures tonight for this Clemson team. Now Clemson in just their second of 5 straight home games to open up the season. And they go to Las Vegas the week of Thanksgiving. First time they will travel out of here. Next up is Colgate on Sunday. And that's back-to-back 3-point baskets in this second half for Sean Jenkins. As we are under a minute now left to go. Clemson will go to 1-1 on the season. It'll be an 0-1 start for Presbyterian College. And the Tigers sharing the ball. The bench reacting to the shot, even with the large lead and half a minute left to go. That bench exploded with the way that play developed down low.
Very unselfish. Everybody happy that Fox gets a bucket as a walk-on.
Sophomore from Reno, Nevada. Getting some minutes here in the second game as the clock winds down. Now the biggest storyline to emerge for Clemson after tonight, as they are 1-1 on the season, for you is what, Debbie?
The biggest takeaway is their 3-point shooting ability and the way they shared the basketball and the energy that they showed up with coming off the loss to Virginia Tech.
It's going to be a 34-point win for Clemson here at home over Presbyterian College. 79-45 is the final. And now for Debbie Antonelli, I'm Steve Schlanger. Thanks for joining us, everyone. A convincing win for the Tigers. And now we say good night from Clemson, South Carolina.